Hey, welcome to the GNAPcast. My name is David.
And my name is Seth, and today we have another guest with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Abby, and it's great to be here with you guys.
Hello.
All right, Abby, as a guest on our show, the GNAPcast, we're going to ask you first a question, then we'll give you a chance to ask either one of us or both a question. So, Seth.
I think I've asked this question before, but chunky peanut butter or smooth?
Ooh.
I feel like it depends on what you're using it for. Like,
Fair.
in recipes, generally smooth peanut butter works better. But if I'm going to have it like on bread, there is something appealing about having chunky peanut butter. I just feel like it gives it more substance to the sandwich. Plus, it drives like my mom crazy. When we were younger, we used to always ask for chunky peanut butter. So I'm going to go with chunky peanut butter.
Fair
That's
enough.
a very good answer. All right, now you get the chance to ask either Seth or me or both a question about basically anything you would like.
I'll ask you both a question.
All right.
So in the future, when they eventually come up with self-driving cars that are available on the market,
Oh, gosh.
will you buy one?
Will I buy a self-driving car? You know, my answer for this, I really like the movie I, Robot, if you've ever seen that movie with Will Smith
Oh,
in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
And that's one where they
Yeah.
have self-driving cars, but he prefers to drive manual. And I feel like I'm going to be one of those people where I'd rather just drive myself rather than like let the self-driving car do it. Even if the self-driving cars are perfectly safe, I just would rather do it myself.
You know, I think I'm in the same boat, especially if the car is powered by like Google Maps or something, because Google Maps doesn't work.
It does not work. It takes you to like the opposite of where you want to
Yeah,
be.
pretty much. Or it gets you in the general vicinity, but doesn't actually tell you where to go.
You had experience with that, didn't you? Where you're
I
driving and
did.
you like just turned left on a highway, like I'm here. Where do I go now?
Yeah. So I was trying to get to a place, and it told me to stop on the side of the freeway, and then it told me that was my destination, when it was actually across a field down another intersection that it didn't tell me to turn. It was wonderful.
Google Maps was just like, that's close enough. You
It's
know,
a fine.
yeah,
you're
should-
within
should
walking
know
distance. You're
You're away
good.
from here. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to play a game called Would You Rather? And I think I'll go ahead and start off with the first question, then we'll go around. We'll go to Seth, and then Abby, you'll go next to the third question, and we'll just keep going around for a while. So, for both of you, would you rather fight a shark with bare arms or fight a bear with shark arms?
Wait, so do I have shark arms, or does the bear have shark arms?
I
'Cause
honestly
if
don't
I
know.
have shark arms, I'm fighting that bear all day.
You would just flipper it to death.
Yeah, no, if I had head arms that were like shark heads.
Oh, shark heads.
Yeah.
What
So
if they were shark arms, like the flippers?
In that case, it wouldn't work, but it
Probably
doesn't
not.
say.
That's true.
So,
But what if the bear has the shark arms, like the
then
flippers?
I'm just okay. If the bear has shark flippers, then I'm gonna be okay. If the bear has shark head arms, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Ooh.
I gotta be honest. When you first asked the question, I thought you meant like bare arms, as in not wearing sleeves, and I was like, I don't know why that's such a specific question.
Well, these are actually, it's spelled B-E-A-R, so it actually refers to the animal, a bear.
You having the arms of a bear.
Either that or the shark has the arms of a bear.
I
I
think-
don't know
Oh,
which.
gosh.
I think I would rather fight a shark with me having the arms of a bear. I feel like that might work about, because you're supposed to fight a shark by like punching it in the nose, right? So I feel like
think so.
a bare fist would be a pretty good thing to punch a shark in the nose with.
That's fair.
But if the shark has bare arms, then I'd like to choose the third option of just accepting my
Well,
death.
that's not bad. Well, if the shark has bare arms, maybe it can't swim very well.
Oh, that's a good point. I'll just lure it onto land.
All right, so
and
you're
then-
going to fight the shark either way.
Yeah.
Seth, what were you going with?
I'm going for me fighting the bear with shark arms.
Oh, we have a dissenting opinion. All
Already.
right.
Here we go.
And the popular vote is actually fighting a shark with bare arms.
Yeah.
But not by much. It's 56 to 44.
Oh, jeez.
Hooray, I think
percentage.
like the majority.
Just slightly.
exciting.
Well, the one common theme here is that Seth and I are often in the minority, but that's what usually happens.
No,
so.
the GNAPcast is not mainstream.
So do I just represent
Unfortunately
the
not.
rest of society looking in on you guys?
I guess so.
If you want, you
I
don't,
have
you don't
entered.
have to. That's
I've
a lot of
entered
pressure,
the circle.
though. That's
That is a lot of pressure. I don't think I want the weight of society on my shoulders.
Probably
No,
not.
you really don't.
All right, Seth, what is our next question?
All right, I got a fun one for you guys here.
All
Would
right.
you rather play a game of Quidditch or take a field trip with Miss Frizzle?
Ooh, boy.
Oh, that is so
Well, some of those have some built-in assumptions. Like if you're playing Quidditch, generally that means you have to have the flying brooms.
This
Otherwise,
is
you can't
true.
play it very well. That also means you have to have magic because the those balls that fly around and everything, those have to be
Yep.
magical or infused with some sense of magic, like the snitch itself and everything. So in order to do that, magic has to exist. And that would be awesome. It'd be terrifying,
Fair.
but it'd be awesome. And then I could go to Hogwarts. But I'd probably also be a muggle, so I wouldn't be very good at it
Oh.
either way. But if I went with Miss Frizzle's field trip, magic would also. Where did my argument go from here?
I feel like the
confused.
thing is, like, if you go play Quidditch, I almost feel like you're entering the world of Hogwarts, but you don't necessarily get to stay, is the
that's a good
thing,
point.
too, for either way. So it's like you enter the world of magic for a short period of time, so which type of magic do you choose? I mean,
That's
personally,
true.
I don't even know how Miss Frizzle became a teacher in the first place with all of the danger that she puts her students in.
You know, that's
Well,
a
just
fair
no one
point.
finds out.
But then again, how did
Except for
Dumbledore
all
get
the-
put in charge of students? Either way, we've got irresponsible magical adults looking over children.
Fair.
So,
Well, at least there's McGonagall in the first one, so I'm gonna go with Quidditch. I think.
Okay.
Just because McGonagall will be there and she'll be the referee, and she'll well, actually, Madam Hooch I think is the referee, but McGonagall will be there and will protect us, and Miss Frizzle won't.
see, when I think of me playing Quidditch, the first thing I think of is that I will probably end up falling off my broomstick for the entirety of the game. Like,
That's
and-
why you'd be the seeker, so you wouldn't have to move very
and see,
much.
that's probably good, but I don't know. It would still be super cool because then I'd get to fly, which has
Right.
always been insane.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna
then
go
again,
with-
there
I'm
is
gonna
the
go with
magic
Quidditch.
school bus.
Ooh, yeah, but I've never really liked riding on a bus anyway. So even
But
if
like-
it was
That's fair.
magical,
But like, you do get to get out of the bus
yeah,
and go on mad adventures.
Sometimes you get out of the bus.
Sometimes you do have to ride on a bus in order to access the magic in that world, and I'm
Yeah.
not so sure how I feel about that.
I don't feel very much for it, so I'm gonna go with Quidditch.
I'm probably actually going to go with Quidditch as well.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
We agreed on something.
We do.
Look at
Ooh,
that.
that's another split. Both of you are in the majority.
Wow,
Whoa!
not by much, I'm
It
sure.
is a split of 54% to 46%.
Ooh, that was even closer.
So apparently everyone playing this grew up with Harry Potter and not the Magic School Bus.
Or they just hate buses.
Fair.
'Cause
Or am I
bus-
in the minority on that one too?
there's just really nothing good about buses.
I mean,
It's like seatbelts are important until you have a whole bunch of kids on one vehicle.
Then,
Yeah.
you
Then they're
don't
not
need 'em.
important at all.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have a question for us, Abby?
I do. Would you rather have to use a completely blank keyboard with absolutely no labeled keys, or have to type with only your two index fingers all the time?
Well, if they're not labeled, do you still have the ridges on the F and the J?
It says they're completely blank, so I would assume no identifying markers on your keys, period.
neither of those options sounds good.
Well, I think I'd do a lot better on the keyboard that's blank rather than like the hunt and peck method of typing.
yeah.
Wait, it doesn't say what keyboard though. This could be an iPod or like an iPhone keyboard, and there I can type with my index fingers just fine.
True.
I would
So-
assume they're talking about a computer keyboard.
Right, but it doesn't specify.
It doesn't specify, which
No.
means you can interpret it to be a piano keyboard. I mean, you could make it
Wait, does it
anything
just
you
say
want.
keyboard? Is that all it says?
It just says keyboard.
And I have to use the index fingers. Well, I can play piano much better if nothing is labeled, because nothing's labeled anyway.
Just play piano with only your index fingers. That's going to work
I can
really
play
well.
chopsticks.
I will say my grandfather does type with his two index fingers, but he still types pretty fast.
Yeah,
So I feel like
you
if it
still
was a-
can't quite match typing with all 10 fingers. or
If you
9
have the
of them, 'cause I
computer
never use my
keyboard
right thumb.
memorized, then you would be good.
I do. I also have the regular keyboard, the piano keyboard. So for that sense, because it doesn't specify what kind of keyboard, I'm going to go with the completely blank one, because I think I can do that better.
You know, I think I'm going to agree.
Oh, wow. All right.
I know we've got a lot of agreement in this episode.
I like both of you are choosing the method of I'm just gonna wing it instead of having to go slow.
Well, the thing is, I'd rather not go slow. I like winging it. I like living life on the edge, unless it's in a school bus.
All right. So you guys it's a perfect split.
Well, look at the numbers underneath.
Wow.
What do the numbers say?
It says, just a few more people actually chose typing with your two index fingers.
Oh,
Really?
So I guess we're
Yes.
technically in the
So
minority.
we're agreeing on a minority. That sounds like normal.
It doesn't really count as a minority because it's such a split decision.
Well, it's kind of a minority.
Apparently,
I
most
mean-
people do not have the computer keyboard memorized well enough to type without
It's all muscle
the
memory.
covers on
It's
it.
I
not
had it-
that
I
hard.
had
Yeah,
it
but they don't really
memorized.
teach keyboarding as much as they used
That's
to. so-
true.
Though they did teach it back when I was in elementary school, so I had the whole keyboard memorized by like 4th grade or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, it was part of my curriculum.
However,
Yeah,
I
same
always
here.
I found out later that I was always doing it wrong because you know how when you type the letter C, you're supposed to move your middle finger down to hit the letter
Yeah.
C. I always move my index down, so I'd always move over.
So do I.
So it was always a little bit slower to type that way, typing a C. But it never really made a difference, and I honestly I tried to fix it, but I can't. It's just muscle memory.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like if you don't learn it that way, then it's really just not more efficient to try and change once you've learned
Yeah.
it one way.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't slow me down too much. Would you rather work a minimum wage job for the rest of your life, a dead-end minimum wage job, or would you rather live in the wilderness for the rest of your life?
Wilderness.
Yeah.
Just wilderness immediately.
No question.
There
on
is
that.
no way I don't think I'd want to spend the rest of my life in a dead-end job like that because I feel like every day you would just be miserable.
What if the dead-end job was really fun, even if it was minimum wage?
Then that might be different. Or like if the people were cool.
True.
What if
could
it was
use
like the guy from Up, where you're selling balloons at a zoo, and you do that for your entire life?
Oh yeah, but you'd have to really like the job to do.
You would have to
do
really
that.
enjoy your job.
Well, what
because,
if you do, though?
Well, I have such a drive within me to always be like looking for the next thing and always trying to like work upwards. So for me, it would probably be really frustrating to think that I have to do the exact same thing every day for the rest of my life.
I think I can agree with that, actually.
And plus,
Okay.
like living in the wilderness, that would be pretty sweet. Like you could have a log cabin in the woods.
For real though, or a tree house.
Not like the
Ooh.
creepy one. A tree house?
Yeah, with tree bridges. In
Now, do you
between.
mean like a tree house or like a house that's literally inside
Like a
of a
house-
tree, like in that book?
He's thinking like the Ewoks, like those kind of tree houses.
I'm thinking of like a village in the top of the trees somewhere, like in Star Wars.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you're
so
assuming we're
Ewok
living in a
village.
wilderness that is inhabited by people.
No,
Inhabited by large teddy bears.
it's the one that you would build
Okay.
yourself.
Oh.
So you,
See,
you,
I don't
you
know if I
build the
could
whole
do
village.
that.
Exactly. I want to build a village in the trees.
My problem is I don't have the skills to live in the wilderness at this point. I'd have to learn them really quickly or else I'd die. So the rest of my life in that sense
Yeah.
would
Well,
be
it's not
pretty
like you don't
short.
still have access to like books. I mean, you could just
Still have a
travel
cell
out of
phone.
the wilderness. I've
hey, can I
still
order
got
a pizza?
signal.
Okay, Google, how do I build a tree house?
Can I order a pizza? Yeah, just deliver it out in the middle of this.
I mean, if you use Google Maps to deliver the pizza will end up on the other side of the highway, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you might be able to walk there. All right, you guys are actually, but again, just barely in the majority.
Really?
What?
54% again would rather live in the wilderness.
Man.
So
What's
it's
wrong
also,
with all of us?
so it's still really close. All these are such split decisions, though.
I know. Like, I don't think we've ever had this many close decisions this before.
I don't think we have. But maybe your question will be the next one that'll be way off. So, Seth, what have you got for
it
us?
might. So this is going to be an interesting question. Would you rather be tall and really skinny or be buff and really short?
Buff as in muscular?
Yes.
Well, I'm
Not
already
naked.
really short, so I mean, I've already got one of those two things
so you'd
down.
just be super strong now.
So yeah, I would just be ripped, but I'd still be the same height. I mean, that sounds pretty sweet to me.
You'd be like a dwarf, but you're not that short, so I don't know. Maybe you'd be a halfling? I'm not sure.
Halflings aren't known for being super strong, though.
True.
I'd be
Neither
a very
are
strong
dwarves.
It would
halfling.
be kind of fun, though. You'll see those videos of people online that are like, 5 foot flat, but they're like super muscular and they're like bench pressing all these really heavy weights, but they're like
Yeah.
super small.
So
I
that'd
think
be
I would
you?
really enjoy being able to just like surprise people, like walk up and they're like, "Oh, you can't lift that up," and just like bench press a house or something. I mean, it would be awesome. So
Yeah, that would
I'm
be-
probably gonna go with the short and buff thing because I mean
Ooh,
that's just
interesting.
it just means I'd be me with more muscle, which I'm cool with.
Yeah, I'm average height, but the problem is being 5'9", which is average height in America.
Yeah.
I still feel short because no matter what I do, there's always like almost every guy is way taller than I am. For example, Seth, you and I were in Music Man last year, the production that Cedarville had in the winter. I, as a 5'9" guy, was one of two guys that was 5'9", along with the main character who played Harold Hill.
I didn't know he was 5'9".
Either that or he's 5'10", but he's about my height. But he and I were the two shortest guys. Everybody else was like over 6 foot, with like 3 people that were like 5'10" or 5'11".
That must be a horrible experience.
I was super short. I know, coming from you, that sounds...
You don't understand. I have to look up at everyone. Like you guys seem tall to
But
me.
to be fair, I'm supposed to be average height, and
That's
I was
true.
like the shortest guy there.
That's true. They say average height for guys is under 6 foot, but I really think that a lot of guys expect to be 6 foot to consider themselves really average.
Yeah, I guess I'm under
Something
average,
like
even though I'm
that.
supposed to be average. So, to be fair, I already feel short, so maybe I could also be super buff and not change height. But I feel like I would have to get
I
shorter.
mean, short is kind of relative.
But to be fair, that does sound like more fun, being a lot shorter,
Oh,
but also
yeah.
being super strong. Like, I'm going to have to go with that one as well.
All right. So we have another agreement. You guys are in the minority, though.
Hey,
that is
Yeah.
a split of
surprise.
68% to 32%.
People just don't appreciate what it would be like. Like
I think we just got the short end of the deal.
Oh no. Okay. For my question, I have to ask: are you guys fans of Doctor Who?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm one of those people where, sadly, I haven't seen nearly as many shows as I'd like to, but I still consider myself a fan. So true fans would be like, heresy, you're not a fan, but I still consider myself a fan of the series.
Okay,
Well, that's
well-
why we don't talk to the Whovians.
Yeah, we
Very
won't throw
much.
you out. Don't worry.
I do talk to them sometimes, but anyways.
So this question is very simple. Would you rather fight Cybermen or fight Daleks?
Evil robots or evil
I
robots?
feel like Daleks are actually scarier because they're less human.
Ooh, that's true.
Like, and they've also have laser beams that can like kill you immediately.
To be fair, what happens if you push one over?
That's a good point.
I don't think you can
it's-
ever
is
get
it like-
close enough.
Well, I mean, if you could, though, if you could sneak up behind it in such a way that you could push it over before it could react.
But
if it-
can you sneak up on the Dalek though? That's my
That's true.
question.
Also, if a human touches a Dalek, I think, at least from one of the episodes when the Ninth Doctor was there, the Rose touched the Dalek and he like absorbed part of her emotions or something. It really
Ew.
whacked him out.
Well, what if you just like set up an elaborate system of traps, Home Alone style, where you have like a
or like
tightrope or something?
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, where you just like knock them over via who knows what happens, but you don't actually touch them. But if you could knock them over, is it like Portal now, where they're suddenly extremely not threatening? It's just humorous.
I have no idea.
I almost really want to do that instead because that'd be more fun.
I always found the Cybermen slightly terrifying because of the way they're trying to assimilate everyone else, where the Daleks just want to destroy you. But there is the fact that Daleks are basically giant, angry trash cans.
Yeah.
So
And in that sense, I almost want to fight them just because I want to see what happens if I can knock it over, or I would die trying. So I'm gonna go with that one.
See, I'm
no
going to
other logic to
disagree
that.
on this one. I think it would be, if not easier to fight the Cybermen, I think it would be at least somewhat less difficult, maybe.
Probably. But again, my logic here is I just want to knock one over. that's my only
he's not
logic
even
here.
worried about surviving. He just
No.
wants the comedy in the situation.
That's all I'm after.
See,
here,
that's
so.
my other thing. I actually want to beat the Cybermen
Oh,
instead of
okay.
just knock one
You're one of
over,
those
although that would be
people,
really
huh?
funny. Yeah, I guess I am.
All right, so we're in the dissenting opinion.
All right, David, you are in the minority.
Oh!
Surprise, surprise.
62% of
Wow.
people would rather fight Cybermen, and 38% would rather fight Daleks.
They just don't see the comedy in the situation.
Exterminate!
I think it's because they've been like shown to be so indestructible, but
Again, no one's
people
ever
didn't-
tipped one over.
yeah, people didn't think about like knocking them over.
You got to think outside the box, people. Okay. All right, for your
Oh,
next
boy.
question, would you rather drive a moped on a tightrope or go over Niagara Falls in a barrel?
Again, both of these sound terrible.
These
don't
are
know.
both
Why
things
would
I
you
would
do
never
that?
want
what
to
if the
do.
tightrope was on the ground?
Okay, I feel like you'd be more likely to survive going over Niagara Falls. Like there's a slim, I
barrel?
feel like there's a slim chance of survival, but it's still more of a chance of survival than driving a moped on a tightrope.
Well, there could still be a net. It doesn't say there's not.
Ooh, there
Not to
could be
mention
a
there's a
net.
whole bunch of physics involved. Like if you have a really long pole that bends and you have tons of weight on each end, then your center of gravity is below the tightrope, and there you're very, very stable.
But I'm also considering my sense of balance. I trip over flat surfaces.
Oh, do you trip over your shadow too? I've done that.
My shadow's just a jerk, you know.
Oh, okay. He trips you on purpose. I see him.
Peter Pan. I like how I have a male shadow. Yes, he trips me on
He
purpose.
trips you on purpose. He's such a rascal.
He's just a
See,
jerk.
that's
you
why
know?
he's a jerk, because never mind.
Okay.
just stop right there. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
So I would probably choose Niagara Falls because I do not trust my sense of balance at all. So
Okay.
over in a barrel for me.
All right. Seth, do you agree?
I think I'm going to agree for different reasons. See, I would rather go over Niagara Falls in a barrel because I love water slides.
Oh.
That would be the best water slide ever.
It could be like
be
that scene
fair-
from the Hobbit movie, which was not accurate to the books, but a scene when they're in the barrels in the water and they're floating down the
Yes.
river.
To be fair, Niagara Falls is a bit more treacherous and has less safeguards
It is.
than an actual water slide. Like those things
Yeah.
have to be regulated. I don't think Niagara Falls is in that way at all.
And the thing
Niagara
though,
Falls is kind of just there.
there's also the sense of what do you want on your tombstone? You know, do you want died driving a moped on a tightrope or died going over Niagara Falls in a bucket?
Either
or
one of those
barrel?
would be kind of an
Bucket.
awesome tombstone, though.
And granted,
Kinda, yeah.
though I'd say going over in a barrel is more generic.
Maybe because it's more people have done it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, people have probably driven a moped. They've driven bicycles on tightropes.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, you guys said going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, and you are in the majority by about a
dang
2 to
it.
1
I'm not
ratio.
surprised.
We got to step up our game.
About 67% of people would rather go over Niagara Falls in a barrel, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I'm really not
actually.
surprised, actually.
The mopeds, you know how dangerous those things are.
I know, but they probably get the sensation that they're safer because they're in the barrel, as opposed to
could.
being out exposed, you know, on the moped, just driving over this really thin wire. I mean,
No one says you can't have any padding in the barrel.
Yeah,
This is true.
it's probably mostly the sensation of safety that they're appealed to. Whether or not it's actually safe is
False
another
security.
thing entirely. Exactly.
Ah, false security.
All right, Seth, what have you got for us?
All right, so this one's probably going to be kind of a polarizing question. Would you rather be Batman or be Superman?
Batman.
Ooh,
Batman,
boy.
just right off the bat.
Batman?
What's your logic behind this?
The reason I would want to be Batman is, first off, I think he has a lot more characterization. But second off, because Batman is still human. But he is
Right.
but he's intelligent and he's not fully reliant on his superpowers.
Interesting.
I think I'd rather use my intelligence and my resources in order to fight crime than be dependent on some kind of supernatural power.
Okay.
Fair.
One thing that's cool
Interesting.
about Superman, though, is he can fly, which makes no sense, but he can.
Oh, here we go already.
That's one of the things I'm leaning towards Superman for, because Superman can fly and he's super strong already and everything. But I also like how, I mean, it's kind of glossed over in some of the Batman movies, but he's a great detective. Like, he's the world's smartest
Yeah,
detective.
that is true. The movies don't really convey that very
Exactly.
Or at
And,
least
like,
some of them don't. Some of them kind of hint at it or like touch up on it, but they don't actually mention that
he's
he's the greatest
incredibly
detective.
smart
Yeah.
and he can function like Batman could go out and function. I mean, if he wasn't such an emotionally unstable wreck, he could go out and function in the real world, and he does without sticking out too much. Whereas Superman, I
True.
mean, he's got the super strength and all of his powers that he has to constantly hide.
And the super
That's a
physique.
valid point.
So I think it'd be a lot easier to function in the real world. And again, world's greatest detective. I feel like it'd be a lot more effective to fight crime with your brains and not just your strength.
That's a good
See,
point.
I'm going to play devil's advocate a little
Ooh,
bit here.
boy.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Yes,
This is
I'm
not
the
your
moderator.
question.
I can decide what I can do.
Ah, fine.
If you were Superman and you had the physique and the powers and all that, why would you want to be in the real world?
Ooh.
Because there's no point protecting a world that you don't care about.
Okay.
Superman
maybe
can
for
never.
fun?
I would argue that Superman can never really have the same kind of connection with a person that a regular human can, because he is an alien and he's so
Interesting.
different.
So admittedly, Lois Lane would like to differ.
Yeah, there's that there. But also the fact of, again, he's practically got godlike powers.
Yeah.
So, like,
Which are cool, though.
it's very hard to make people not afraid of him, which is why he has to be so clean cut.
True.
Would you care if people were afraid of you, per se?
I feel like
I
I
mean,
would
you
care
should.
if it was.
Probably should.
I feel like I would care because if I'm going to get respect, I would want respect out of what I can do and what I've earned it, not just because people are scared of me.
What if you don't want
Fair.
respect? What if you just want to go rogue?
Wow, okay. So you're turning Superman into a supervillain is basically what you're
maybe.
saying.
I'm weighing
suddenly
the
hearing
options.
bad reputation playing in my head.
And what really sells me on this question is that Superman has that, Fortress of Solitude that's in the Arctic?
Yes.
Ooh, it's
And
true.
Batman has this super awesome cave with full of high-tech gadgetry, and it's not frozen tundra.
And he is Alfred,
And
so
I don't. And there's Alfred there
What do
too,
you
and
say?
that's what's convincing me. I'm going to go with Batman instead of Superman.
Yeah.
I don't like the Arctic as much. Dare I say
Interesting.
it? So
turned you to the dark side.
that's my
All
that's my
right.
logic here.
Well, let's see.
The dark side of the Dark Knight.
That's actually less split than I was expecting. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
it's still about half and half. 54% of players would rather be Batman.
Oh, we're the majority.
Majority again.
Bother! I should have gone with Superman.
Guys, we've gone mainstream. This
Oh,
is
no.
bad.
Well, that was such a close. It doesn't. That could have been a fluke because of how close they are. So maybe
True.
maybe we aren't yet.
All right,
Hopefully
for you
not.
geeks/nerds, I have a good question for you.
Oh boy, here we
Would
go.
you rather be your favorite video game character or be your favorite movie character?
Ooh,
Oh
boy.
no, that's a terrible question.
We had a similar question to this. Would you rather be your favorite video game character or be in your favorite band? And for that
Yeah.
one, I had to go with. Did I go
You
with
said
video
video
game,
game
or band?
character on that one, I think.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually don't remember. I
Well, now you have to
don't remember.
choose between being your favorite video game character and being your favorite movie character.
Oh, boy.
man.
Well, first I have to establish what those are. Well, I'm
true.
going to go with my
Establish the parameters.
same video game character for me as last time is going to be Samus from Metroid, or Metroid Prime specifically, because that's my favorite video game at the moment.
Yep.
So Samus from Metroid Prime, amazing character. I love the suit. I love the whole location. I love all the powers that she has in the suit. So that's strongly weighing in that favor. And now I've got to pick a favorite movie character.
Well, now I'm confused. Is this? Do you have to be in your favorite video game as your favorite character?
I think you just become the character. I don't know. It doesn't say you have to go to their universe. So you could just be
Interesting.
Samus walking around camping.
But then I wouldn't have my power suit.
That would be awesome.
That would be weird if I didn't have a power suit.
You
I
just
don't
look
know.
like you were going to Comic-Con.
I think this is probably
That's
up to
true.
interpretation.
All right,
in
well,
some sense.
I'm going to approach this in the sense that you become your favorite character in the game, maybe temporarily. Like, if you had to spend a day as your favorite character in the game or
Ooh.
in
That
the
makes
movie.
sense.
Interesting
Yeah.
premise.
So I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
And so would I rather be Samus, like in, say, Metroid Prime, which would be dangerous, but it'd be a lot of fun? Or would I rather be, I don't even know if I have a favorite movie character. That's a difficult one. Who would your favorite movie character be? Well,
I'm still trying to nail that down.
Oh man, do I have a favorite movie?
I didn't realize this would be like such a difficult question for
My
you guys.
problem
You have
is,
no idea.
I like a lot of movies, but I don't like them specifically for one character. I like them for the story.
Yeah,
or the music, or
I'm
things like
having the
that.
same problem. It's
So-
usually for the world that I like something
And-
more than any one part of it.
Oftentimes, in like some of my favorite movies, like for example, the movie Interstellar, I really like that movie, but I don't have a character that's my favorite character of all time
Right.
from that movie because that's not the kind of characters that they are.
I feel like video game
Oh.
worlds are more open to like your interpretation because you get to act in that universe, whereas movies there's a set story and a set universe that you have to behave
mean-
in as the character.
Yes and no. I think I'm going to go with video game just because I've already nailed that one down. I can't think of a movie character. I'll just make it easier for myself. I'm going to be Samus for a day. I can do that.
All right.
I think I'm going to have to say video game, but I would be the player character from the Knights of the Old Republic.
Ooh. Man, I haven't played that in so long.
It's such a good game. I started that up last week, and it's actually running on my computer. I was
Hey.
shocked.
All right.
It's not
so
running very
both
well,
of you chose
but
But it
video game
runs.
character.
we did.
We're probably the minority.
You are not.
What in the world?
Uh-oh.
It is very close split, but 52% of people
Oh,
said they would
man.
rather be their favorite video game character.
52%?
Wow.
These are all so close.
I know.
I mean, gaming has definitely taken a rise, like in interest.
Maybe
recently.
they all have the same dilemma that I do, where you just can't pick a favorite movie character.
It's too many good movies, or maybe they realize that they would never survive in their movies.
Yeah,
universe.
that was what my thought process for the movies. I'd really love to be some of these characters, but man, their lives suck. Especially in the movies themselves.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're going to go ahead. We'll go do, I guess, one more question from each of us.
All right.
So for my last question for both of you, would you rather live in a world with no spiders, but all other bugs are as they normally are, their current populations? Or would you rather live in a world with only spiders, but with a 50% increase in their current population?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
So would you rather have a world where there's no spiders, or a world where it's only spiders, but there's a lot more of them?
See, that doesn't make any sense to me because spiders help control the insect population.
Right. So they take away a lot of... So if you had no spiders, there'd be a lot of other insects.
But I also feel like if you had a ton of spiders, what would be like... It would just be awful. There'd be spiders everywhere.
I know.
It would just be terrible.
Neither one
and
of
that
those-
means that poisonous spiders would also increase in number.
Yes.
Which sounds horrible. I'd rather have stink bugs than have a ton more poisonous spiders. I mean,
There'd also be scorpions. Do those count as bugs?
I don't
Scorpions
think so.
are not technically insects.
Oh. Well, I mean, spiders are arachnids, which is not an insect either.
Correct.
Technically. But they count as bugs, I guess. Under the premise of the question, it refers to bugs.
I guess I would probably say a world with no spiders, but the
Okay.
same other insect population. But I'm still not sure because I feel like that same insect population would suddenly increase exponentially
Yeah, it's
with
almost
the lack of spiders.
It's almost the same question because if you kill the spiders, all of the other insects are going to increase in population.
So
Will
are
they
we
increase
assuming that something
significantly?
takes the place of spiders as their predators, or are we just assuming that spiders suddenly disappear?
Well, if spiders suddenly disappear, I mean, insects might not increase that much. They have such a short lifespan that all that would happen is they would multiply more rather than
True.
living longer. So you might end up with more, but maybe not by too much.
That's true. But then, like,
I know which one I would pick, but I'm the moderator, so I can't.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want to influence our decision
Yeah.
any.
No, I don't want to say anything.
Oh, that's so hard. That shouldn't be this hard, but it
I know.
actually is
It's
really
like the
difficult.
last question. The last
Oh my
question was really
gosh.
hard.
I would probably say world without spiders
A world
and more
without
insects
spiders.
because I really do think that fewer poisonous creatures is probably a good thing.
Okay, Seth, do you agree?
It's a good thing these don't like actually take place in real life.
Oh,
which
I
we
know.
choose.
That'd be
That would be
terrible.
horrible.
If that's the outcome of this decision, I'm thinking about it a lot more.
All right, Seth. Now this decision is gonna come true, so you better pick the right one.
Well, in that case, I'm going to pick.
No pressure.
There are
anyway.
no insects, but there are twice as many spiders.
Oh my
Oh wow!
gosh.
Well,
no.
it'll be 150% of the spiders rather than 200%. It's just a
Yeah, I
50%
guess
increase,
so.
so it wouldn't quite be double.
I don't like spiders, but there are insects that I hate more.
Okay.
That's true. I wasn't thinking of like wasps.
Yeah.
Would be gone.
Yeah.
And things like that. I don't know. I'll stick with my original just because I want to see.
All right. Well, 70% of people would rather live in a world with no spiders. So, Seth, you're the minority,
Arachnophobia is a thing, okay?
Hey.
and I have it. So that's what I was gonna
Oh
pick.
no.
I can't stand spiders. All right, Seth, do you have a question for us?
Yes. So now we have another moral dilemma.
Oh boy.
Would you rather kill your best friend and receive $1 million, or be killed and end world hunger?
End world hunger, like temporarily or like forever?
It doesn't specify.
Oh, it doesn't specify.
I would assume they mean forever.
I would hope so, because that would make it worth it. I'd rather not kill my best friend for $1 million. My best friend is worth more than that. So I'd probably die to end world hunger. Unfortunately, my best friend would then be left without me.
Oh.
But I'd rather do that than actually kill somebody and get $1 million and then be taken to jail for manslaughter.
This is also the thing, where it's like, if you say, oh yeah, I'd totally kill someone for $1 million, like, what are you going to say to that? How are people going to react to that? Though, honestly, I really don't think that I would want to kill anyone for $1 million, let alone my best friend.
Right.
So I'd probably have to go with him and say, yeah, I'd be willing to take the hit if that would end all of world hunger. That would just do so much more than getting $1 million would anyway.
All right. Fair enough.
Plus the whole, not going to jail
Yeah.
thing.
There's so much paperwork involved with murder.
My
It's just
goodness.
not
It's too
worth
messy,
it.
It's
There's
just
so
not
many
worth
headaches
it.
involved, man.
All the signatures.
I hate it. I mean, I'm not speaking from experience here.
You sounded just so so sure of yourself right there. It's a bit concerning.
Oh man, is there something we need to talk about, David?
Oh, of course not.
David, are we going to start hearing like sirens outside in a couple
No,
minutes?
this
I
booth
mean,
is soundproof for the most part.
It's probably a good thing. We've got our own personal noisemaker in here. It's okay.
All right, so you guys are both in the majority,
Surprise,
which
surprise.
is a good thing on this question. I'm gonna say
How much of the majority?
72%.
Okay.
That's
that-
pretty
chose to
good.
die and end world hunger.
That's kind of what I expected.
It still means there's a significant margin of people who are like, oh yeah, I'd totally kill someone for
They
money.
just need a better best friend. Or else,
Yeah, there's
or else
that.
they just have whoever they think is their best friend is really not.
Or
something
just
like that.
call like some random person their best friend and then kill them and get $1 million.
Call a murderer your
Yo,
best
this
friend
guy's on
and then
death
kill
row,
them.
but I'm
Yeah.
gonna make him my best friend so I can pull the lever for him.
Hey, there we go.
and then I'll
That's
get $1
true.
million.
That is like kind of evading the system there.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't end world hunger, so.
Yeah, as people would still be
Meh.
starving. Okay, one more question. I mean,
Our last question.
I feel like this shouldn't be too difficult,
It probably will be.
but it probably will be.
I mean, you
Alright.
said that last time.
All right, would you rather watch only dramas for the rest of your life or watch only comedies for the rest of your life?
Dramas.
Right away.
Wow.
What's your rationale behind that?
I don't like comedy movies.
You don't like
Oh.
comedy movies?
Well, it depends on what kind of comedy
I mean, if
movie.
What
they're,
if you
if
went
they're
with,
those
like-
lousy comedy movies that they crank out every couple
Oh.
of years.
Because
like,
I
that's
mean,
one
there are a
thing.
lot of movies that people call comedy that really aren't
But
funny.
what if you went with like actual comedy movies? Like, for example, The Emperor's New Groove. That one I feel like is an actual comedy movie.
Yeah,
And I enjoyed
mean,
that one.
I can agree with that.
I like that you went to that one of all the comedy movies you ever
That's
could have
probably
chosen.
the one I've seen
You
most
threw off my
recently.
groove. I'm sorry,
Um,
you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Well, can I make the distinction rather than going with what people tend to classify things as nowadays, because sometimes they're wrong, like Seth pointed out, any movie that has any element of comedy in it versus any movie that has an element of drama in it, there's a ton of overlap, but I'd rather go with ones where there's at least a little bit of comedy. Because oftentimes, some of the best movies are the ones where it's a very dark movie, but they have some lighthearted moments throughout.
True.
Some comedy here and there. So
I kind of agree with you there. Like, I feel like comedy is important to remind you not to take life too seriously.
It is,
If you always
definitely.
only ever watched dramatic movies, I feel like
Agreed.
you would not have a very good mental
Yeah.
state by
Well,
the
that
end of it.
doesn't necessarily mean that there can't be any comedy in dramas, but I'm saying as a whole, for like a genre of movie, I would pick dramas every time.
that makes sense. I wouldn't want to do just the cheesy sitcom comedies or whatever
Yeah.
those things are. But based on how I'm going to define the question, if it has any element of comedy in it, even if it's a super dark movie, I'm going to watch that instead of something that's just drama.
So you're split on this one.
Yeah, we'll be split on this one.
And
So
this
one
is
of us
the
will be-
last question.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
All right. David, you are in the vast majority.
Oh, wow.
86% of people would rather
What?
watch only comedies for the rest of their life.
Wow.
Well,
Only
maybe they're-
14% of people would rather watch dramas
Heck
for the rest
yeah.
of
Well,
their
again,
life.
maybe we're really hopeful that it's actually the good comedies, not the terrible
I think a lot of
ones.
people probably were like, there's no way I could watch a movie without some kind of element of comedy. So they probably defined it the way you
Defeat the
did.
proud.
Whereas Seth was like, you know what? Let's just immerse myself in drama for the rest of my life. That's a good idea.
Hey, I could do that. There are a lot of different subsets of drama. I'll be fine.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap up this episode. And the way that we usually do that, Abby, is that because Seth and I both have perfect pitch, we'll have you pick a random note. Seth and I are going to try to harmonize on that note while singing the word goodbye. Unfortunately, my voice is not 100%, so this is going to be interesting. So I'll probably just go with a low tonic.
All right.
And Seth will have you do the harmony. So, Abby, you can pick a random note. You don't have to hum it or anything. You can just say the note.
Well, how about A?
A. All right, so I'm going to go on the A. I'll just go on, I'll do an A2, I guess. And what note do you want to do?
I might do the third above
The
that.
third above it, we'll give you the C sharp. Do you want to go minor to major from the C to C sharp?
I'll see if I can do it.
All right, ready?
Goodbye.